Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Your good friend Walter here at the workbench. Today's topic is cutting boards. Why? Well, with all the holidays and all the baking and food preparation, everybody uses a cutting board. So what I thought I would do is just touch on the topic. Maybe there's some questions that you might have as to what wood to use, what finish to use, what shape to make it, what size to make it, so on and so forth. So, first I wanted to show you the oldest cutting board that I have made. I made this one for my grandmother, my young teens. So, it's probably one of the first cutting board projects I ever did. 40 some odd years old. And it has all the things wrong with it, but she loved it, she used it, she kept it in her summer kitchen. And it is made of oak plywood, okay? It is lumber core plywood, oak on both sides, and I just used a drill bit to cut out these curves, connected it with straight lines, and put a hole in it. My grandfather was a butcher. He put a piece of butcher's twine in there to hang it up. So it's plywood. And I guess, back then the plywood veneers were a little thicker, but it held up. It served the purpose. So then, after I was first married, we were living in Delaware and not far from the Lancaster tourist area. And I was commissioned to make cutting boards for a gift shop there. And so I came up with this design. It is just a paddle design, and the handle really is not as comfortable as I would like, but that's what I made. And I sold hundreds of these to this store, and wholesale, we fed our family on the money I made from these cutting boards. So what I did was I cut a 45-degree angle slot in the cutting board and inlaid it with walnut, cherry, and walnut. Now, I learned a lot because walnut and cherry shouldn't really be used right side by side. Why, you ask? I'll tell you. Walnut lightens over time. Cherry darkens over time. So they sort of, you can see it's there, but it's not bright highlighted. I'd be better off if I had put a piece of hard maple in there, or holly would have been nice. So you live and learn, but everybody loved them. And this one is made out of solid beech. It was glued up, I believe, just, let me see, 2 boards really. This one and then this one. And I used just carpenter's wood glue. That's it. Now this one, this one was a cutting board from a 5 and dime over 40 years ago. It was given to my wife as part of her bridal shower. And it has a unique glue joint. It's like in the letter of a Z. And there's 2 of them. And it has warped in all directions. And the glue joint is coming apart on this side a little bit more than anywhere else. It has seen hot and cold nearly once a week for 40 years. And then there is my little one-piece boards that I've made hundreds of these as well. It was just a rectangular board with a hole in it, and you take it to a router and you just route the corners on it. So you can see, I use this one every day. You can see all the knife marks. Hope you can see it. I've started cleaning this up, and we'll talk about that next. So, the goal today was to just clean these up a little bit and get them a fresh coat of oil. So, if you want to just scrape the surface clean, you take a cabinet scraper and you just go across your cutting boards, pastry boards, butcher blocks, and you get all the oxidation off. You're not trying to change the look of it, you just want to clean it up. There you go, that's it. And so what I'll do now is I'll go in the house and I'll re-oil it, let it dry, and that'll be good for another couple of years. We can do this side too. So, a lot of times people talk about what wood or which wood should I use. And I always tell them it's simple. Number one, use the wood you have. Number two, try to get something that is tight grained and something that is hard. If you can start with what you have, look for something tight grained that is hard, that'll work. So using those criteria, here in Pennsylvania, probably in most of North America, it limits you to maple, beech, or birch. You can use ash and you can use white oak, but I would avoid oak for cutting boards for daily use. I would avoid it completely, red or white oak. And ash, it's too open a pore for my liking. Because what happens is you're working with food and moisture and steel knives, and oftentimes if you don't clean it right away, you'll get black lines where your knife marks are. And then you have to get into bleaching it and all that, and then now do I bleach it and still use it for food? So I just avoid it completely. Beech is my favorite, but not everybody can find quality beech. So hard rock maple, also known as sugar maple, would be my first preference. If you have access to nice hard beech, hard birch, not the softer white paper birch, but the yellow or black birch. The wood in the middle almost look, in the heartwood almost looks like cherry as it's oiled and aged. So that's my recommendation on wood. Can you use exotics? Sure, go right ahead. I'm looking at a utilitarian piece that is going to get worked every day. If you want to put accent strips in it, if you want to make some sort of lettering and inlay lettering, that's you can, the sky's the limit. But you have access to cherry, walnut, holly, beech, birch, maple, alder, some other tight grained woods that you can use as accents. So what I did here on this one, I've already finished this side. I hand planed this one out. It's almost, actually there's a little, looks like here and here something must have hit it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to just get rid of these knife marks on this side and flatten it, okay? So it's flat on the table, just with a standard hand plane. And you just use it like you're planing any other wood. And so that'll freshen this one up. It makes it look pretty. But that's basically it. You just keep planing away till all of the cuts are gone and you're happy with the surface. I'm not going to worry, like I say, on this one too much. There's a couple of dents there, I guess, that have a little bit of staining. Now, on to finishing. What do you put on cutting boards? Well, my recommendation all the time for bakers, pastry boards or cutting boards that are going to be used in a bakery, nothing. You just give them the fresh piece of wood, because their dough and the things that they're going to be cutting on in a bakery, if they're going to be dividing up butter or margarine or lard or even dividing up doughs and things like that, that's going to seal this on its own. Now, could you put something on? Absolutely. You could use mineral oil. You can use mineral oil mixed with beeswax and applied warm and then buffed off. I'm going to be using my go-to finish, which is tried and true oil and wax finish. So it's polymerized linseed oil and beeswax. As the linseed oil cures, it seals the board. So it's not going to be waterproof, but it will be water resistant. And it is 100% food safe. In fact, it's almost ingestible. Okay? Linseed oil is flax oil. People take flax oil capsules daily, or they'll take it on a spoon. What else could you use? There are a whole bunch of different products on the market. I don't recommend them because I don't know the ingredients in all of them. But if it's either pure mineral oil, pharmaceutical grade, beeswax, I guess you could get away with paraffin wax as well, but that's an oil product. Even the mineral oil is an oil product. So that's sort of why I like the tried and true. And I'll leave a link to the tried and true finish down in the description box of the video. And you can check it out. It's in my Amazon shopping, not in my cart, but in my store, in my Amazon store. And if you choose to buy it, I get a little bit of a spiff, but doesn't cost you a penny more. So that's about it for today. I'm going to continue working on this one. And I sure hope that you're having a great end of fall and preparing for a long winter's nap, because we're at that time of year where temperatures are dropping and snow is falling and the children are all wound up that the holidays are here and everybody's concerned about what they're going to get Aunt Nellie for Christmas, you know? As always, if you found something useful, helpful, maybe entertaining, give this video your thumbs up, share it, and ring that bell for notifications when we put out another video. I know it's been a while since I've done one, had a long, busy summer. So we're getting back in the shop now. We've got some other ideas coming up. But most of all, head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.